All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor and praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Bahashem, Rach HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. This is Brother Bob Razal here with a lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying. And this lesson will be entitled Beginning of Sorrows, or something along those lines, right? Just going into Americans are starting to feel the effects of, this economy, right? What the war is having on the economy, right? Gas prices rising, food prices rising. Americans are not being able to afford to live, right? And we understand that this is just the beginning, right? Things are going to continue to be worse and worse and ramp up, all right, as the downfall of Babylon continues, right? And I'm going to read, I have an article that I want to read, but first I'm going to read Matthew 24:7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." And that's currently what we're seeing. All right, so let's get this article. It says, this from ms.now. It says, Americans are unhappy with Trump's economy of choice. It says the biggest headwinds facing consumers and businesses alike are the direct result of White House policy. See? So let's continue to read. It says 55% of Americans say their financial situation is getting worse. That's higher than at any point in the last 25 years, higher than the 2008 financial crisis, and higher than the pandemic when COVID-19, C19, right? I'm just reading the article, literally shut down major parts of the global and American economy. There you go. And we're starting to see those conveniences, Americans have, is starting to get kind of stripped away. Right. And this all leads into that digital system, that MOTB policy. Right. Because we kind of seen a test run of that with the whole C19 situation, where everybody was, locked inside. Right. In order to have certain freedoms, there was a certain point where they wanted you to take the shot, the jump shot. Right. So we're currently coming into a time where it's going to be a lot worse than that. People are not going to be able to feed their families, right? People are not going to be able to buy the goods they need in order to survive. People are not going to be able to buy gas, right? The Strait of Hormuz closure is currently affecting, the America's economy, and people are feeling that. All right. It says this financial situation, right, is higher than any point in the last 25 years, right? It says higher than the 2008 financial crisis and higher than the pandemic. So we're seeing that. Now it's going to continue to get worse and worse until the economy eventually crashes and they implement a digital system. And in order for you to get those different conveniences back, in order to buy and sell, right, in order to trade, in order to be even accepted inside society again, you're going to have to take the MOTB, which is the C-HIP. All right. It says GDP, the broadest measure of total economic activity we have, did grow 2% over the first 3 months of the year. However, a large portion of that growth was driven by businesses investing in AI, and increase in government spending propelled by the war with Iran also pushed up GDP. Much like this war in Iran is Trump's war of choice, this edge of financial crisis is the president's economy of choice. And hey, day by day, is more and more people coming against Trump, known as that cruel Lord, right? We believe he's the cruel Lord in Isaiah 19, right? Nero coming back again. So this is what's currently happening under this man's, rule, which we know that, he's really a puppet for the elites, but he's the face. So he's going to take all the blame, right? It says, despite the rise in GDP, 70% of voters told Fox News they felt like the overall economy was getting worse for them and their families. That's because voters that don't vote based on GDP. They vote based on the economy they experience every day, which is heavily influenced by factors such as inflation. In March, the annual rate of inflation increased nearly a percentage point from the previous month. And this thing is just getting worse and worse, man. You see? And it says, let's see. Let's read this. Much like this war in Iran is Donald Trump war of choice. This edge of financial crisis is the president's economy of choice. The biggest headwinds facing consumers and businesses alike are the direct result of White House policy. So people are currently getting fed up with this place, fed up with this man that's in rulership. All right. Fed up with the, this system. Right. And hey, that's a part of that. This country being divided. Right. A kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. So no matter how you look at it, everywhere you go, this place is through, man. All right. And it also says the price of gas in the U.S. hit a high for the year. It now costs an average of $4.46 per gallon to fill up your car. According to AAA, on the eve of the first strikes of Iran, it was $2.98. The airline industry has been thrown into chaos over a shortage of jet fuel, right? And that's another thing, right? The prices of to travel, right, on jets have been going higher, right? Spirit Airlines going out of business. It says, and farmers are facing higher production costs because of much of the world's fertilizer is also shipped through the Strait of Hormuz. You see? So there you go. This is who, the Babylonians, Americans voted for, right? And hey, we're seeing the effects of this, right? Of this man being in. But either way, this is all by design. This is what Esau wants, right? The order ab chaos, the digital system crashing, people being on the verge of starvation, right? Famines, right? Not being able to live, not being able to go to their day-to-day jobs, right? He wants to put you in a position that you pretty much are presented with a choice, either to take the C-hip so he can have full control over you and what you do, whatever the case may be, right? Or you're going to be X out of society. Esau going to be looking to put you to death. You won't be able to, feed your family. And if you don't have the spirit and the faith in Yahweh Shemi Awashai, hey, you're going to take it. Or you're going to be through, man. All right. So, let me read verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but it is not yet. And this is all kind of, tying together, right? When you look at the war, that's what's affecting this economy, right? You seeing the U.S.'s allies coming against the U.S., which we also know that's a part of biblical prophecy as well. All right. Which we know that's a part of biblical prophecy as well. So we're currently in those times, right? In Matthew 24:3, right? Let's read it. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of that coming in of the end of the world? And we're currently in that time. We're currently in the time of the end, right? We're seeing Matthew the 24th chapter come into full effect. 2nd Ezra 6:22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? So it's not going to be no food on the shelves. People are going to be out here hungry. They're going to be out here, breaking into people's homes, looting others. Friends going to turn against each other, right? Because at that point, it's going to be survival of the fittest. And even then, if you don't, and it doesn't matter how much you doomsday prep, how much food you store up, whatever you try to do to escape these times, you gotta have the wisdom and knowledge, right? The scriptures say, Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, nothing carnal. The only way you can get delivered out of this is if through spiritual means. You can't do it through any carnal way. All right. Isaiah 24:8. The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. And these people are not in that spirit of mirth anymore, Salakia. Mirth anymore. We're seeing more and more people are starting to mourn, right? It was all, fun and games, and now it's, I can't afford this job, I can't afford to feed my family, I can't afford to go to point A to point B because of gas prices. So we're seeing that mirth ceasing. Verse 9, it says, they shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it, right? And even then, right, even like alcohol, drinking alcohol, you're not even gonna be able to afford that. So we're currently seeing that, hey, this place is through. The city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up that no man may come in, going into Babylon, also known as Babal confusion. There was a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is dark and the mirth of the land is gone. And brothers have been posting these videos. People looking at the, even like a deli meat. A regular deli meat costs over $20 now, man. A toilet paper costing over $30 in certain areas, right? So this is what we coming into. These are the times that we in, and it's only going to continue to intensify. Isaiah 65:13, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So, hey, if you're not a servant of the Lord, if you're not in good standing with Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, you gonna be through during these times, man. It's gonna be a lot of people out here dying by the sword, pestilence, famine, right? All type of ways. It's gonna be a lot of death out here. And if you don't have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai dealing with you, then you're gonna get caught up. You're gonna get caught up in that destruction, right? Because everybody's thinking about the carnal bread and water, but not the spiritual, right? We eating the spiritual bread, right? The spiritual water, right? We're being quickened by the Spirit. And we understand that the Lord, he's going to come back and he's going to lift up a standard for the elect. No matter what type of situation that the elect goes through, the faith that the elect has and works that they built up, being in the truth, right, taking full advantage of this grace period, the Lord is going to look at that and provide them a way. It may be certain instances where brothers haven't ate in a while, and you may just come across a empty room full of food, walking somewhere in the wilderness, you find a rotisserie chicken somewhere. You never know, And some people that think that might sound ridiculous, but they don't got the Spirit of the Lord on them. People don't even think that the Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is coming back in the so-called UFOs that Esau's been, trying to put under wraps. You see? So you gotta have that level of faith during these times in order to to be good. All right. But that'll do it with the lesson, and Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I'd like to give all the honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushua Ba'Hashem, Ra'achak Wadash. Shalom.